So I have been asked a lot of questions lately that require long explanations. So I'm just going to do them all in one video because almost all of them roll in with each other. They're all intermeshing because this is years in the making. So the questions are, what's going on with the shop? Are you still going to be at the shop? What's an SOT? Who can use an SOT? How bad is your cancer? Are you dying from it? I think that's about it, but I'll cover as many as I can. How did you start YouTube? So it all started way back when. I was watching a Nut and Fancy video, actually, and he had talked about this company had just sent him a free barrel. And that planted the seed that this might actually be able to have a business model behind it. I'm like, oh, okay, but that really didn't set in that much. Well, a little bit later, I had seen a video, how much money do YouTubers make? And I don't even think I watched the video, but then I'm like, dude, I could put a business model behind it, and that looks like a blast. That'd be so cool to have that for a job, to go out there and shoot firearms. Like, why would I not want that as a job? So I did my pros, my cons. So my cons, the only list I had for cons for not making a YouTube channel was I didn't have a camera and I didn't have editing software. I think I wound up getting a Walmart credit card. Bought a GoPro Hero 3 and some software, and I started making videos. Unfortunately, the videos I was making, they were more like what I kind of seen on YouTube, and a lot of it wasn't structured yet, so it was just me going to the range and shooting guns. That was it. There was no rhyme or reason. It was just some random guy at the range shooting some random firearm. So I never got any views. I'm pretty sure the only views on those videos I got were from direct family members that I basically forced to watch my video. Never really went anywhere. Well, I did a video on my 6.8 SPC going over the problems I was having with that particular build, and that video went basically viral. Because I covered all the problems, so I had to drill out the gas block because I wasn't getting enough gas, and then I wasn't tumbling my cartridges. I was just using chemicals to clean the brass, so it made the brass have a texture to it so they weren't rolling up the mag properly. The point is, video went viral, but it was so low of quality of video because I had the camera up by my face, so I was breathing into the microphone, and my voice sounded all weird because it was so close to the mic, and it was shaky and in poor lighting. Even though that video got a pile of views, I only got 2 subscribers from it. This is my AR-15 6.8 SPC, and this is the gun I did build. Today I'm going to be talking about the problems I had with it. So I pretty much gave up on YouTube. Well, my brother Kevin, he's handicapped. So we've been trying to put him in a job since day one. Trying to give him his own job where he's his own boss and he's able to do things. Well, my dad had put him into something called the lunch wagon. It's basically a food truck that would go to auctions and he would sell food. Well, he doesn't necessarily have the image for that type of job, and it didn't work out for him. While they were waiting to sell the trucks, they put my stepmom in the truck because she had the image. The problem was my stepmom is competitive and she likes to win. And she's really good at winning auctions because all you have to do is bid higher than everyone else. So my stepmom, she liked to win, and she won a lot of auctions. She was really good at winning auctions, and she got sheds full of stuff. Just a ridiculous amount of things. And Dad's like, hey, we have so much stuff, we could literally open a store. And he was always looking at this building, but the guy that owned it wanted $200K for it. Or 250. It was some ridiculous number. Nobody would ever buy it in this town because there's not enough population to support that big of a payment. So it sat here empty for 8 years, I believe. Some ridiculous amount of time. Anyway, that guy wound up passing away, and his wife actually put a realistic price on it. So boom, snatched up the building. So my brother, the food wagon thing didn't fit very well because when it comes to food, presentation is everything. And he's not necessarily dirty, but he didn't have the image that you would want for somebody making your food. So the shop came up, and the whole idea was to get him in some sort of business that would work. And we got the resale shop going, didn't make enough money to where it could have supported him. He didn't come in yet. I'm like, well, hey, we got a brick and mortar store. Why not get an FFL? We could sell guns. That'll boost the profits enough to where it could definitely support him, and that's something I would like to do as well. I would like to come in there, me and him could work together, everything would be gravy. So that's where the store comes in. So that's where we are to that point. Well, it still didn't do that well for like sales and gross numbers, and we were talking like, should we just shut it down? What should we do? I'm like, well, hey, I got a plan. Hear me out. So I will be like the face of the company, and I will go on the social medias and advertise. I'll just go out there, I'll communicate with people, I will bring the customers to us. I can do this. Obviously, we're on the face of the company. I can't be directly like tied to the company, so I can't be on like the FFL or anything like that, because otherwise I'll be vulnerable. People have a way to attack me, because I'm gonna go like ham on this shit. But later, like after we grow it up and that, then, you know, me and Kevin could ultimately buy it. So just give me like a little bit of time. Well, let me play the social medias a little bit, and I'll see if I can't get some business in here. So what did I do? I jumped on Facebook. I went on all the gun groups, and I started viciously attacking trolls. Like bad. Like really, really bad. And I know quite a bit about firearms, so it was easy. It was child's play. So I go on there, I started attacking them, because these are the people that would like, somebody would ask a question or post something, you know, that is wrong or something like that, and they would come in and just attack these people hardcore, like ridiculously bad. So then I would go in, I would throw out a little bit of troll bait, I'd reel them in, and I'd just start smashing them. And people would contact me like, hey, you said you had a firearms shop. I really appreciate what you did to that guy. He's a total douchebag. He's been on this forum for so long. He either knows the moderator or he is the moderator. Everyone hates him. It was really cool to see him get crushed. I would like to buy his stuff from you. And I'd be like, yeah, come to the store. This is where it's at. Put the store address out there. And I pulled in a stupid amount of business. Like selling... We're in a town of 450. And we were selling multiple guns a day. Like, during the Trump slump and everything. Like, there's no gun panic. There's nothing boosting sales. And I'm selling multiple guns a day. They were driving from all over the state of Wisconsin to come here. Everybody appreciated what I was doing. I was just taking the trolls on head on, like, come get me. And I'd just let them have it. And that boosted up the store. Like, we started with 5 personal firearms in here. It might not have been exactly 5, but it was like 5 personal firearms here that we had pulled out of our collection. And we ultimately filled, I can't really show you guys, but all these cases with pistols, that case behind us with long guns, that entire wall with long guns, just by selling. And then we take that money and we'd buy another gun and we'd sell that and we'd keep going up in a higher and higher price gun until it got up to like $800, and we'd split it into 2 $400 guns. And they would start growing. It just kept splitting and splitting and splitting. And that was hugely successful. Ridiculously successful. It grew the business, like rapidly. Like really, really rapidly. Well, then Facebook dropped their whole no more gun sales, no more gun talk, nothing like that on Facebook. And I'm like, well, shit. Well, now how do I pull in the customers? Because that was the customer base. That pulled them in, like, really hard. I'm like, well, maybe I could do like little satire videos and just have like the gun store in the background, or like some firearms in the background, so they know that there's firearms coming from there, and then I'll post it on the channel Facebook or the store Facebook page. People will see that, come to the store, things will go from there. I made like 3 or 4 satire videos. They had a couple hundred views, nothing big. Well, I made this one called the Wisconsin Bedtime Story. This little piggy goes to the market. This little piggy stays at home. This little piggy turns flesh into roast beef. This little piggy makes would-be attackers go wee-wee in their pants while sounding like Woody Woodpecker. So, if you're thinking about taking up the profession of armed robbery or carjacking here in Wisconsin, I just want to let you know, we're almost all armed. I mean, do you really want to wet yourself in front of your friends or have to wear a cast round for a year? And God forbid if one of our children are with us, we're probably going to skip the less than lethal niceties and go straight into deadly force. So, just do yourself a favor and move to Chicago, where this is the norm. and taking your personal safety into your own hands is politically really not accepted. Don't forget to pack your toothbrush and floss regularly. Solid video. Went viral. Got like 30,000 views in 2 days. Grew the Facebook store page up to like 800. We had like 40 people following us. Then now all of a sudden we got 800. Like just boof! Popped off. And I'm like, well, hey. I'm not really related to the store yet. Not pulling a profit out of here because everything's just going into growing the business. What if I monetize the videos themselves? Because I mean, if I could get those kind of views, that would be amazing. Like, that would be really good. Because then I could turn the advertisement itself into a business, so I don't even have to make money at the store. Sorry, at the store. I could literally just make money off the advertisement itself. So I'm like, okay. Well, instead of putting those videos on Facebook, why don't I just put them on YouTube? Just satire videos. They're all removed from my channel now because they were dumb looking back at it, but they worked. It grew. And my channel started to grow. So as we're going, we go from thrift shop to Facebook videos. And at that time, when I started uploading to my YouTube channel, because of that one viral video I put out, I think I had 12 subscribers, I believe. Something like that. So I started putting out videos, and then I would just spam the Facebook groups with my videos. It didn't matter. I'd get kicked out of groups all the time, but there was so many firearms groups, I could get kicked out of one and add myself to 4 more. So I would just spam the groups with my videos until ultimately I hit 1,000 subscribers. And that's when I started taking it more seriously, because at that point in time, I was only putting out like maybe 1 video a week, 1 video every 2 weeks, something like that. Well, then as I grew, I hit 1,000 subs, and I'm like, okay, there is serious potential in here. Obviously, it's not making money yet, because you're not going to make money with a channel that small. Or at least I couldn't. Not with videos. If I would have did live streams and stuff like that, I could have. But anyway, hit like 1,000 subs, and I'm like, I'm going to start taking the YouTube thing more seriously. Instead of like maybe me going into the shop, I can be affiliated with it. Like, I just make videos there, and I help out from time to time. But this will go more towards Kevin. And at about that time, he started coming in and working, and we'd start training them and getting them to do everything. And I start growing, and it was really slow. From 1,000 to 30,000, I think that was like a 2-year thing. Like, that happened really slow. So I ultimately hit 30,000. Then everything just changed. It was like a light switch. Like, bing! Just all at once. The growth started exploding. I was starting to get into the swing of things, getting niche. Like, everything was going great. Hit like 30,000, started exploding, and now all of a sudden my YouTube channel's paying for itself. It's paying for the ammunition, it's paying for the time I put into it, so that was kind of cool. It wasn't enough to support me and my family yet, but it was covering its own expenses. So that was really awesome. So that like pulled the brakes off of it, because before, like if I wanted to make a YouTube video, I had to physically take food out of my kid's mouth, money out of the household, go buy ammunition, then take more money out, go buy gas, go buy targets, go to the range, shoot a firearm. So I didn't make really any videos shooting firearms because it was too costly. What I did was just comparison videos. And since I had the access of all the guns at the shops, I could just pound out comparison videos, like one right after another. Well, now when it hit 30,000, now all of a sudden, yes, it can pay for ammunition. It can pay for guns. It can pay for fuel. It can pay for range trips. Like, that's all covered. Well, so then I switched from like crappy reviews and comparison videos over to something a little bit higher quality. Shooting videos. I mean, those are fun to make anyway. So I started making those, and then obviously I struck gold, smashed a couple viral videos, and I jumped from like 30,000 to 100,000 in just a couple of months. It was really rapid. Crazy fast. Totally blew my mind. Like, at 30,000, like, okay, the dream is starting to look pretty real. And then a couple of months later, not only is the dream looking real, I'm living it. And it's paying for me to do it full time. That was amazing. That was just something else. Like, that blew my mind. That was crazy. Really happy about that. And I appreciate all your guys' support. Like, thank you. If it wouldn't have been for you guys, I wouldn't have been able to do this. So I hit 100K. In between 30K and 100K, I get the SOT because the ultimate dream is to make like gun build videos. I want to put a whole bunch of products together, see how they interact with each other because I love mechanics. Just love them. I really do. Love mechanics, see how all the parts interact with each other, see how everything goes, see what different combination of parts get me different results. And I get the SOT because I wanted to obviously do those kind of videos, and then I wanted to make machine guns and shoot the crap out of stuff. I thought that would be amazing. Obviously with YouTube policy, you know, machine gun videos, I know they're gonna hurt my channel. I know this, but I'm like, okay, I'll just make a couple. I might make a video or two just to pay for the machine gun itself, and, well, I'd be good. And that brings up the question, what is an SOT and who can use it? An SOT is a special occupational tax. What that is if you have an FFL, whether that's 03 or an 07, you can attach an SOT to it. Now, if you have an 07, that allows you to manufacture machine guns because an 07 is a manufacturing. Well, now you're putting an SOT on it, so now you can manufacture machine guns. What does an SOT cost? $500 a year until it becomes, I think you got to make like $40,000 a year or something like that, and then you move up to $1,000 a year. Now I know there's going to be the question, well, what about ITAR? What about I? Recently, like 15 months ago, they changed the whole ruling about ITAR. I'm not going to tell you what you should or should not do, but any information you're looking for on ITAR, make sure it's less than a year old, because otherwise it's out of date and obsolete. But basically, they reclassified ITAR, like, because you used to have to go in there for NFA items. I'm not going to tell you you do or you don't. Just know that things changed, and to look at recent stuff before you decide to pay ITAR that ridiculous amount of money. So basically, you got your 07, which is $150 every 3 years, and then you attach an SOT, which is as simple as writing out a check. There's no application process, nothing like that. You just write out a check, you send it in, well, now you can make machine guns. What the SOT allows you to do is transfer NFA items without having to pay a $200 tax stamp on each and every individual items. Plus, it allows you to make post-dealer samples for demonstration, testing, basically everything a YouTuber does. So if you're a YouTuber with a gun shop, get an SOT, because then you can do things with it. The catch with an SOT, so like let's say I got a pre-86 machine gun, I can take that home, I can take that to the range, I can do with it as I please. Well, an SOT, that's a dealer sample. So there's that narrow window of what's acceptable to do with the gun, and it needs to stay at the gun shop. Again, you can do media purposes, demonstrations, stuff like that, which is the only time the gun would actually leave the store anyway, but the gun needs to reside in the shop because the shop owns it. You, as a person, don't own that machine gun. The business does. So that's the catch with an SOT, but as long as you don't plan on, only having your shop open for like a year, you're good to go. So the SOT happened, and my plan, again, was to make machine gun videos and make gun build videos. Well, things changed. Basically, it was July. You guys all know that the Fed showed up at my house and they subpoenaed my girl in front of the grand jury. Well, one of their main questions, they had different sets of questions, but one of their main sets of questions was to try to pierce the corporate veil. They were trying to link me with the shop so they could attack the shop. And at that point, I knew everything needed to change. Yes, I'm barely involved in the shop now. I'm strictly like the face of the company, and that's it. Really, what you guys see on camera is my only involvement with the shop, which is like nothing. But I need to reduce that down even more, because I know that they were trying to pierce the corporate veil and go after it and attack the shop, aka my handicapped brother who needed a job. It pisses me off. It really, really does. Like, come after me. That's fine. I understand the risk. I'm cool with that. But don't go after my handicapped brother. So, anywho, at that point, which is right there, I needed to back out. I needed even less connection, so I talked to him. I'm like, hey man, we can't go partners on this. You're going to have to buy it solo. I'll do what I can to help you, but you're going to have to run it solo. I can't be affiliated with this place in any way, shape, or form, because at some point, someone's going to get pissed off, and they're going to get a judge to agree to pierce the corporate veil. They're going to find out that I'm affiliated with it, and they're going to take everything away. So I'll help you out how I can, but I'm going to not be affiliated. No legal affiliation whatsoever, no investment, no physical help. And that comes down to who can use the SOT. So when the business owns the SOT, anybody that basically has the capability of placing an order can use the SOT. So say I'm just a random employee, but I have the power to buy guns. Now I have the power of the SOT. Since I'm totally disconnecting myself from the shop, I no longer have the power of the SOT. Because if I were to do a machine gun video and they tried piercing the corporate veil, I would either have to tell the judge I illegally manufactured that machine gun, or I use the shop's SOT, which would make me link to the shop, which then they could go after me, and by extension, my brother. So unfortunately, no, the machine gun videos never happened, and I'm never going to make them, and I'm probably not going to do silencer videos anymore, just because that would be a direct link to the shop, and I can't have that. So that happened. Pulled out. So my brother is still going to run this. You should definitely support him. Dude, he's a really good kid. Yes, he's handicapped. He's got a solid heart. He had a bad role in life. My mom got into an accident. It basically made the left side of his body, or no, the right side of his body not usable. He can use it, but he doesn't have like full function over it. Anywho, I will still meet you guys here. I'm probably going to wind up setting up some sort of an appointment thing. I don't know if I'll have it. I'll announce exactly what I'm going to do, because I'm going to be here a lot less. Is maybe get some sort of appointment book or something like that. Like, we'll just pre-work it out, and I'll come down here when you're here and we'll hang out. I like hanging out with my fans. I really do. And I appreciate seeing you guys. And you guys coming here to see me lets me know that you guys appreciate me. Don't think that you're, like, invading my personal space. Like, yesterday I was at the restaurant, and somebody come up and wanted to shake my hand, and they're all apologizing. Like, hey, man, sorry, you know, I didn't mean to interrupt your food. Man, I don't care. Like, that's fine. He was just quick, like, hey, you know, I know you, I appreciate your videos, I'd like to shake your hand. That's all good. It's not like he was, like, hoarding in on my space or anything like that. But I don't mind. I seriously don't. You see me in public, unless I'm in disguise, which means I have a forward hat, I usually put on sunglasses and make sure my tattoo's covered up, then I'm obviously trying not to be noticed for some sort of reason. If I'm in my costume that I wear on my channel, yeah, by all means, come and talk to me, because I don't care. So that happened. Well, then I got diagnosed with cancer. I'm still in the, as you notice, there's a big-ass bruise on my arm from all the blood they drew. I'm still going through the testing. I don't have any solid answers yet. Basically, inside of my butt was a 40-millimeter growth. And inside of that growth, a 1/4 inch of it was cancer. Now, they couldn't take it out in one piece, so they had to cut it in a bunch of little sections. So imagine like a potato on a cutting board, and somebody draws a black circle on it. Was that particular piece connected to my body, or was that like the center of the growth? If it was the center of the growth, I'm good to go. I missed the bullet. They caught the cancer in time. 100% okay. If that piece was connected to my body, that's a different story. I'm going to be looking at chemo, major surgery on my rectum, God knows what else. I'm about to get a CAT scan. Battery died. About to get a CAT scan in a couple of days here. That'll give me a lot more answers. I appreciate your guys' support through all of this. I really do. And that's basically the long and short of everything. I hope I got everything down there.